Hey, it's Matt from Black Hole Woodworking. Today, we're going to make a top. But today's video isn't actually just about making tops. It's about making someone's day better. So normally I wouldn't make a video like this because I think if you do something to help someone else, that's more of a private thing. But in this case, I actually want to inspire others to use their talents and gifts to make someone else's day better. So in the case of these tops, I'm going to make a bag of them and I'm going to make my way into a local 55 plus home here, and I'm going to dump them all over their common area tables and leave them there as a gift for them to discover. So let's get on with making a top. The first thing I do is cut this piece of 2x4 to length. I think it's around 4 to 6 inches, whatever kind of fits on the end of my bandsaw, and then I turn it on end because I'm just setting the length of the fence there so that I can get a square out of it, or I guess a really long rectangle. Alright, now I got 2 squares, or rectangles. Because this piece is square, it fits nicely into the 4-jaw chuck. I just seat it at the back and then I tighten it really good, trying to make sure that it's as parallel as possible. And I do that by just setting my fence, my tool rest here, and I kind of just see like how close do I get on each of the corners. So that guy's quite a ways away, so I will just kind of bump it and then get them to that point where they're pretty good, they're pretty even. And then after that I tighten it up really good. And when I tighten it up, I try and tighten both sides because the gears, just to account for any slippage that might happen. So I've got my tool rest set fairly high. And that's because my weapon of choice to make this round is going to be the skew chisel. And it's mostly because I'm practicing. And so when I do this, I'm going to kind of aim the skew like this, and then slowly raise the handle so that as the wood clips into the skew, it'll peel it. I guess that's why they call it a peeling cut. So we will give it a shot. Trying to do is get this thing round, which I am just about there. I have some chip out there that I'll get out, but I'll quickly make this round and then we'll go on to the next step. Alright, so that's really good. It's really smooth, so it feels really nice. Next step, I'm going to take my spindle gouge, lower my rest. That way when I cut, I'm going to kind of be around the center mark. I'll get myself a little closer. And so the whole point is we want to make this top have a taper on the bottom here. And this taper part's actually quite important, I found out, because you need enough distance from the point to the roundest, fullest part of the top so that when it spins it doesn't catch on the table quite as easily. That little knot there is going to throw the whole thing off, so I got to cut it down a little further. So as I make the cut, I am constantly trying to ride this bevel along that wood so that it's supporting my tool the whole way through cutting it. Looks like I gotta go a little bit more, but I gotta say, that feels like glass. Alright, feels really good. I think that's small enough now that it won't matter. So I'm going to change the camera around so you can see what I'm doing for the stem. So to do this part, I like to have a pretty flat section right in here. It's the kind of style for this top that I like. And so I usually true up the side and then I make a stem. So my top side will probably go about here and then my stem somewhere up in there. The trick here is to get that stem as thin as you can without getting it to the point where it loses its strength. Now that I have the shape of my top, I'm going to start adding some color with a Sharpie. In this case, I'm just going to paint basically a bullseye on the bottom and just give it some stripes wherever I want to. Now that the top is done, it's time to give it the old snip, and do that by getting it as tiny as possible right at the very top of that stem. And then I try and make a very clean cut, and while I'm trying for that cut, I have my hands ready to catch the falling piece, and just like that, it's off. As always, you gotta give it a test spin, see if it works. Ooh, yeah. That'll work. So these tops are so much fun for everybody. Seriously, go out there and do something for someone else. Use those talents you have. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.